Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in or welcome back to the channel and welcome to another day of vlogmas. If you've been online, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, there are certain products that influencers try to sell us or they just use all the time or they swear that it's the best. I'm sure you can think of at least a couple of examples. So today I'm going to be talking about 10 things influencers could not convince me to buy in 2024. So we're going to talk about some sponsored products, but that's not really the bread and butter of this video. We're talking about the influencer favorites, influencer hyped products, things that they swear are great, they love, you see everywhere, that kind of stuff. Something that influencers try to sell us or try to get us to buy, sponsored or not. I have not tried any of these products, and this is not a condemnation of quality or efficacy because I haven't tried it and I won't. So we're going to get started, and I think it's going to make more sense as we go through. The first thing I want to start with is the Touchland hand sanitizer. And this to me, I think is just the epitome of this video. It's one of the things that just screams influencer, at least to me anyways. This to me is the epitome of an influencer product because it gained popularity, in my opinion, because of its aesthetics, and influencers care a lot about aesthetics when they are online trying to portray their lives in aesthetic ways. They are in many cases like the product of a product. If they want to influence you, they need to make their lives look aesthetic in many cases. And so this is just one of those things that makes their life look aesthetic. And this in turn has convinced regular people to buy the product because it's aesthetic. Guys, this is a $10 hand sanitizer. It's a hand sanitizer and it's pitched as like a designer kind of fragrance smell. Like, this is a product that does not need designer elements to it. It does not need to be aesthetic. It's a hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizers should not cost $10. I can go buy a bottle of Purell for like $3 in Canadian dollars. Or, if I want to get fancy with it, I have bought the Bath & Body Works little, their versions. That's fine because you can get like 5 for $10, which is $2 a bottle. And so just for me personally, an aesthetic hand sanitizer is a waste of money, and I don't need one in my life. So no matter how cute or aesthetic or how many cool scents like influencers show, they could not get me to buy this. I'm sorry, they can't. Next up is the Armani eye tint, specifically in the shade Cashew. And this one is maybe the most niche of all the recommendations, or perhaps the one that I've heard least spoken about. But I have seen multiple videos from white women who pitched this shade specifically, 22M Cashew. This is a $52 eyeshadow. A single product. The people who talk about it like it's so amazing, it's easy to blend, like it's gonna transform your life. I don't care how great of a formula this is. You could not convince me to buy $52 eyeshadow. Maybe 4 years ago. I have bought expensive eyeshadow products before. The most expensive eyeshadow product I've ever bought is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize and Oyster Pearl, which is about $45-ish, 48, something like that. Would not buy that today because no single shadow is worth $52 or $50 in my opinion. And like at the end of the day, it's an eyeshadow. Like they're super creamy, blendable formulas, unique colors, really intuitive formulas, or really easy to use formulas. I know with single shadows in specific, if you want a one and done look, maybe you want something that's a little bit more matte. I think that there are certain colors that are more difficult to find. But barring those specific examples, like an eyeshadow for me is not going to be life-changing. And this is kind of my end to talk about designer makeup overall. I just don't see the value in designer makeup. It is so absurdly expensive. I know I talked about this in a recent video too, but the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation is $92 Canadian. no foundation is worth that price. I'm not saying it's drugstore or nothing, because there is a ton of middle ground of products that are not $10 or $20 or $80, $90 or $100. In many cases, influencers rave about these kinds of products without ever mentioning the price. In 3 recent videos I watched on the eye tint, I don't believe any of the influencers mentioned the cost of this eyeshadow. One of them showed it in a video so you could see it on the screen, but that was more by accident because they were going to Sephora and they were showing the product. If there was no price on the shelf, I don't think they would have mentioned it. I feel like with this makeup example, the influencers aren't thinking about the price because they can go into a Sephora, try things for funsies, and just think about the formula and have that matter most instead of other factors. I find it hard to take recommendations seriously from people who don't view money in the same way I do or think about money in the same way I do. Same thing goes for the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos. Now, these have had their fair share of criticisms, but there are also people who are recommending them. And there is one video in specific that I'm thinking about where the creator uses 22M cashew and then puts the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duo on their lid. And she's like, eyeshadow is just that easy. Yeah, a lot of things are that easy when you have money to throw at it. We're going to use this as an opportunity to talk about eyeshadow palettes because this is like, in a way, it's a mini palette, right? It's a duo. And I feel like I've had a bit of an awakening recently where I've really sat down to think about makeup prices because in some ways I haven't thought about it for things like lipstick or eyeshadow, those kind of things at Sephora, because I'm not buying those things. I haven't purchased a lipstick for myself in probably about 2 years. I haven't purchased an eyeshadow palette in probably just as long as well. Though I think the last high-end eyeshadow palette I bought was in 2022, and I was still dealing with some of the, ramifications of being a spender. Might have been 2021. Either way, kind of in that area of time, I was still dealing with the fallout of fixing my shopping habits. And so at the time, I would justify spending more money than something was worth because I didn't really want to think about some of those things. Since I have stopped shopping and really changed my makeup consuming habits over the past 2 years and stopped buying makeup just for fun or just because, and I've thought really more consciously about how I want to spend my money and what is worth it to me, I can no longer justify dropping $100 on eyeshadow. Like the Huda Beauty palettes are $94 Canadian. The Patrick Ta, I think, are really similarly priced. They might be like $88 or $92, something like that. Natasha Denona, another $100 eyeshadow palettes. And Natasha Denona has left Sephora Canada, so they're only available on their website. And with makeup palettes, a lot of the time you hear people talk about like the shade range or the formula, how beautiful it looks. And I also did talk about this in my advent calendar video, so I don't want to stay here too long. But I think with high-end makeup prices, even at the drugstore too, but especially with high-end, inflation of products and just like price increasing, makeup brands just feel so comfortable charging large amounts of money for things that, in my opinion, don't justify it. You can't sell me on the newest Natasha Denona palette or the newest Huda Beauty palette. You just can't sell me on that anymore. And if you find makeup interesting overall or want to spend your money on makeup, I'm not saying you have a money problem or anything like that. Just for me and where I am in life in specific, it just like you can't sell those things to me anymore. Next up are fridge organization containers. And I think at one point you probably could sell me on this, but I was sold. I did buy some. I think I bought some at the beginning of 2023. It wasn't a lot. I think it was like literally 2 containers. But today you could not sell me. I can't be sold on those. Influencers cannot sell me on those. And I watch a lot of those videos to make content online. So I am consuming quite a bit of the like fridge restock organizational content. Guys, I don't care about the way my fridge looks, and you're allowed to care about it. I don't give a shit. I really don't care what it looks like in there. As long as there's like some semblance to the fridge. As long as like I know where this stuff is, that's fine. I don't need it to look aesthetic or cute. That's kind of what I mean by I don't care about what my fridge looks like. My food already comes in packaging. It already has things that I've also paid for. Like we pay for our pasta sauce jars and our pickle jars and the container that your orange juice comes in. We pay for that as part of our purchasing. I don't need to buy more things to do jobs I already have things for. I have seen too many Amazon videos or like restocking videos to know that the main reason why these are being pitched at all is so creators make money. So they make a commission on the product. This is another example where I think being the product of the product helps. And so influencers will buy all these containers and then show them in action in their fridge, and they make their fridge look aesthetic to communicate to us that our fridge could look like this. We could have aesthetic fridges. Our lives could be better. We could be like them if we buy this stuff. No, I don't want to have a life like yours or a fridge like yours. No, thank you. Most especially because this is a manufactured desire and desires that stems from seeing aesthetic fridges online. I didn't care about the inside of my fridge until I started seeing other people's fridges and other people's aestheticized fridges. I never would have wanted these had I not seen them, which means that they aren't actually a real desire coming from me or coming from something that I care about or value. And so I won't buy this. Number 5 are Uggs, and specifically the Tasmans or even like the platform Uggs. And out of everything on here, this is the one thing that I feel like I actively find myself wanting. I was actually, I was looking at, there was a sale online and I was looking to see like if the Uggs were part of the sale. I was just more so curious. I wasn't planning to drop them. I was like, how low do Uggs go on sale for Black Friday? Like what is bottom of the barrel pricing, the cheapest that somebody could buy these for? And it wasn't that much of a deal. They were still over $100. I think these are cute, but I also think the reason why I think they're cute is because I see them all the time. I see them on Pinterest. I see them on TikToks. I do watch some fashion videos to, again, make content for here. And I see the girlies styling them. They look so cute in their outfits, but I wouldn't wear them. Like I'm not a style inspo to anybody. Like I'm not here to try and give you inspiration for your closet or for dressing or any of that. And I think if I ever give like tips or advice, people aren't taking them because they find me stylish. I think it would be more somebody taking them because I've offered some level of practicality that is somewhat divorced from style itself. I can't justify buying something that is cute, like just because it's cute. These have no practicality in my life. The only way these could be conceivably worn and be safe from the elements would be as a slipper inside, and I could not, in my, like just right now, I could not justify $140 on a slipper. I can't. I also still have slippers that they're fine. So I also don't need one right now either way. And I recognize that these will be a fad, that they will come in and out in probably a year or two. We will have moved on and I won't be thinking about them anymore. And I can't say like with these, I've seen people recommend them in gift guides and putting them in boot baskets. I've seen them kind of promoted that way the most, or I guess I should say promoted that way the most recently. I've seen them a lot in like the OOTDs as well. And those aren't really like promotions. They are in a way, but they're not like, go buy these, they're the best. The more recent videos are because of the like holiday season. And in either capacity, I won't do it. I can't. Y'all, I live in fucking Canada. Like, I have lived through these things being destroyed. I saw in high school the girlies wearing the Uggs and having salt stains everywhere. That is forever burned into my memory. I bet you, whenever the time comes to replace my slippers, even if I was like, yeah, I'll buy the Uggs, I bet you they won't even be in by that point. Okay, next up, I want to talk about some fragrances, specifically Tom Ford and replica fragrances. This might be more of a millennial thing because I've heard of many scents from both of these brands being promoted and said as like beautiful and wonderful scents for a long time. And they're not necessarily the most popular now. Like there's a brand now called Fleur. They have a scent called like Vanilla Skin, I think, that is really popular. And these are at vastly different price points. So we'll talk about the replica Tom Ford thing first. These perfumes cost like $200 or $300 a bottle. Objectively, I don't think perfume is worth that. Maybe more, I mean, I think it's objectively, but that's not like a universal truth. So I guess I should say subjectively, in my humble opinion, perfume is, it's like a bottle that is like primarily like alcohol, sometimes oil, and then you put fragrance in it. Obviously an oversimplification of time and skill and all of that goes into making these fragrances, because it is a skill to make these fragrances. It's not get it twisted. But these things don't, like, to me, they're not worth anywhere near $200 or $300. And I've seen some of these perfumes go for like over $400. Maybe not necessarily like replica or Tom Ford, maybe like big sizes, but both of these regularly sell for $200 to $300 for bottles. I don't care how good it smells. It's not worth that price to me. Specific scents gain popularity online because of the influencers, because they think it smells so good when we just have so many different opinions on fragrance. I was actually talking with my partner's sister and his mom, and one of them brought home a bunch of fragrances. I think there was like 4 bottles on the table, and we were all smelling them, like, which one do you want? Which one do you like? And we all had like very different opinions on them. I was smelling a Chloe perfume and a Chanel perfume, and I was like, I think I like those ones the best. And then I was smelling 2 Ariana Grande perfumes. One I like really didn't like, and that was like somebody else's favorite. And that's the thing with recommendations online, is like, I don't have the scent profile or like the knowledge or the experience to be able to understand scent notes when somebody's talking about them or showing them. I know maybe like some larger terms, like I don't like gourmand scents or like super sweet scents. I don't like those. I like clean scents or floral scents. That tends to be where I lay. But there's so many different kinds of floral scents. A lot of the perfume that I would want would be a blind buy. Maybe I could go in store and smell it, but I'm ultimately interested in it at all because somebody, like, I heard it online instead of organically going to like Shoppers or Sephora and, you know, smelling the smells and seeing which ones I like best. And sometimes we can convince ourselves we like stuff because it's popular. I know I've done that before. I'm not sure I'm communicating the point that I want to communicate, so I'm going to try again. The replica fragrances have been put on my radar because of influencers, which feels kind of random, but maybe there's some other incentives there. But right now, that Vanilla Skin perfume, which is like $24, that's a new recommendation. Or like the Sol de Janeiro perfumes, body mist. Those are much more affordable. And so what gets recommended changes all the time along with the price of those recommendations. So I could have fell in love with the replica perfume and saved up money or spent money I didn't have previously to buy it when I never would have wanted it had I not heard it from an influencer. Instead, what if I never heard of the replica and I only heard of the Fleur scent, the Fleur scents that are like, I think they're like $38 for a small bottle. So it's like, it's more affordable compared to the replica. What if that was the only one that I heard? I never would have saved up money for the $200 perfume. I mean, I never did anyways, but I still was interested in some of them in the past. The point is that cool new perfumes change all the time. And then there's one that somebody swears is the best. And then a year or 2 later, they swear this one is the best. All of this stuff changes all the time. We're just going to move on. Next up are AirPods. And the AirPods overall, the AirPod Maxes, the ones that go over the ear, both of those things. But this could also be extended to the Apple Watch or the iPhone, but we're going to focus on the AirPods. I don't see influencers pitching iPhones. I occasionally will see the Apple Watch, but I think the ubiquity of these products is part of it. But I do hear influencers recommending the AirPods and the Maxes quite often, and I've seen them appear in gift guides recently. And it is just kind of shocking to me how comfortable people are recommending a $700 product. AirPods are over $700 Canadian. It seems that to be an influencer is kind of synonymous with loving an iPhone because I rarely ever see somebody with an Android also like being an influencer, or I should say an influencer showing their Android. I'm sure there's some out there. I haven't, or I don't recall seeing one such thing recently. I think you are either like an Apple or an Android person. And so if you are an Apple person, I get the logic of, all right, I have the iPhone. Let me also get the AirPods or the Maxes or the Apple Watch. And then you can like sync stuff over devices. But you also don't need the AirPods or the Maxes if you have an iPhone. Like you don't inherently need that. It's not like non-AirPod products are only for Android users. No, like it's not it. These products are just so expensive. There is no world to me at this point and where like a $700 product, an AirPod product, headphone product, there's no world that that's going to be worth the money to me. I don't think that they are inherently the best product on the market or like the best product for the job. I also don't need the best product on the market, even if they are. Something being like maybe 60 or 70%, but let's say $150 works just fine for me. I don't think it's hard for the average person. I consider myself an average person. I don't have much knowledge about like music or bass or treble or things like that. I don't really know all of that. So I guess I should say I don't notice tons of differentiation between like sounds. And so I just feel like many of the times influencers go for the Apple product because they have the Apple products and they can afford to just kind of buy $700 AirPod just like that. I just don't think a $700 AirPod is necessary in order to get good sound. I think there are a ton of options that are more affordable. Like I don't think I ever really need to go there. I guess part of what I'm trying to say is that people are buying these because of like the brand name and the product recognition. And I kind of care less about that. Next up are the flare leggings. I see these pitched or like recommended in the Amazon haul videos or in like the fashion world, like OOTD. But then I also see them kind of like some of the other products I mentioned earlier. They're being just like shown in real life, people wearing them around the town. And so I think this is one of those things where like the more you see it, the more you want it. This is something that I hated at first and I was like, why? But I do think that they are cute now. And this is like another classic example of seeing something so many times. I've seen them so many times on influencers that I now think that they're cute. Like exposure, I guess. I lived through this the first time around, and I think these make a little bit of sense given the popularity of the UGG, because back in the day, the classic pairing was the flare legging and the UGG. Besides that, or like the you know, like those Boston, who makes them? Birkenstock, the Birkenstock Bostons, and lots of dupes. That was another classic pairing with the leggings. Those are also popular now. And I find these, like, unless you own those specific shoes, I find them hard to style because I think if the flare is big enough, it can make your running shoe look small or just kind of funny. I like the way that they look on other people, but I can't see myself buying them or actually living my life with them. Like I'll think that they're cute and then I'll be like, oh, I want these. And then I'll think about real life and I'm like, there's no way that this works. There's no way that I'll actually wear them and like them. I hate the feeling of like the flares when they like rub against each other when they're walking, not necessarily your legs, but like the flare of the pants rubbing as you walk. Not a fan. I think that these will also go out of style in a few years. I don't know how long they'll last. They could last another 6 months. They could last another 2 years because the flare leggings lasted a few years the first time that they were around. I think I owned mine for like 3 or 4 years. I'm not totally sure like exactly how long, but they weren't like a 6 month or a 1 year kind of thing. But they will eventually go out. I don't know if they'll last as long this time. And if I am going to buy a legging, I wanted to buy something that I could own for a long time, meaning like 5 to 10 years. I own current leggings. I have some leggings that I've owned for probably like 7 years now. they still have great life in them and they don't need to be replaced. That's what I want with a liking. And so I could think that these are cute and the influencers can convince me that they're cute, but I will not buy them. Ditto to the bow tie tops. You'll know the ones when you see them, but they're basically, there's also jackets where like right here, instead of buttons, there'll be like a tie here and a tie here. I think like Ghana makes one, like one of the big ones, but that's like an expensive brand. There are also more affordable options that have come out. This is to me like a really purely influencer kind of purchase, and influencers make them look super cute, but I could never see myself wearing the tops. And I think the jackets are more wearable because the tops, like you just have like 2 little ties here, sometimes 3, holding the top together, and like you can't wear a bra with it. If I can't wear a bra, I don't wear that item. I have to wear a bra. So I would never ever buy this. The influencers can make it look as cute as they want. This will be gone in 5 seconds and I will forget about it. Like this will be a thing in like 3 or 4 years time. If I see this video, I'll be like, oh, that thing existed. Something can be cute all at once. I don't need to engage in it because it's cute. Next up is an honorable mention. And it's an honorable mention because this overall is not something that influencers can actually sell us on for the most part. And those are acrylic nails. I'm just going to call them acrylic nails, even if they're biogel or something else. But basically like a nail extension or professional manicure at a salon. I've seen people change their habits because of what I feel like is the normalization of acrylic nails and going to the manicure, because of what I think are the prevalence of the acrylic nails online. So many influencers have their nails done that this has, I think, become viewed by many as normal. And about like once a year when I get my nails done, I'll think about it. I'll be like, hey, maybe I should get a manicure, even if it's like a shellac manicure, a couple of times a month. And then I'll go to the manicure and then I'll get it done and it'll grow out and I'll be like, I have to come back here in like 2 weeks and I gotta spend like $60 to get it done. No, ma'am. I went out in the summer. My partner's mom and sister, they took me out to get one, which I really appreciated. It was really fun. And I enjoyed having my little manicure for a couple of weeks and that was great. But to me, manicures, they're a treat. I don't need them every month or every couple of weeks. I know for some folks, this is more of like a self-care thing and it makes them feel confident. Great for you. But that is not true for me. And what I find is like sometimes I'll watch these videos and then I'll like look at my nails and I'll be like, wow, my nails don't look cute. But I don't think about the cuteness of my nails until I'm engaging in a lot of social content. So I know that I'm being influenced, and doing something because you're being influenced, at least for me, is kind of a shit reason to do it. It's okay to do something if you genuinely have that need. And I find myself, once I get offline and once I stop engaging with that kind of content, what I find with this example is that I will not want these anymore in a couple of weeks and I won't care about them. And then the next time I turn on the TikTok videos, then I'll be like, oh yeah. And I've sometimes been like, oh yeah, you're in front of the camera a lot. People see my hands, but I don't care enough about my nails to do that, generally speaking. And you all don't care about my nails. I've never once received a negative comment about my nails. I've had people ask me like, oh, where's your nail polish from? Or I do have some press-ons, which kind of help me scratch my itch every now and then. People will might ask where they're from or say that they're nice, which is great. But overall, my nails don't impact my ability to be a person online. And the last thing about them is that I find doing my own nails, like painting my nails, extremely relaxing and near therapeutic. It is such a wonderful it brings me it's so relaxing that even if I was comfortable spending the manicure money, I would be losing something that I think is wonderful and like centers me and I find relaxing, and that would be kind of a loss. So those are all of the things I have on my list. What is on your list? What is something that, or some things that an influencer could not get you to buy in 2024? I would really love to hear what's on your list. Thank you so much for watching. And I want to give an extra special thank you to my member. Thank you to everybody who has signed up. I appreciate you so much. And the membership is part of how I keep this channel sponsorship free. And I really just appreciate y'all so much. And with that as well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch me, to hang out with me. Appreciate you so much. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for another video. I think tomorrow's video is going to be fun. So come on back and subscribe while you're here. Subscribe for the Vlogmas content. Okay, bye.